Let's start with the arms behind, just to straighten the back as much as possible. And then back round to prayer. Push the hands up and down, pulling the head back. And then down. Pushing the chin into the chest. And then breathing. Trying to get this lower back belly working. Tensing the muscles in the back a little. And then tightening the belly to pull the hands together. Beginning to turn with it. Turning away from the front as you open up. soon as we introduce a turn, there's a new dimension. This sense of turning into novelty, to something new. Let it become the pulling in the rope. Hand reaches forwards, elbow pulls back. And reaching up. And the hands together. Now let's try that twist. So one hand behind, other hand on the opposite knee. And working yourself around. Then the other side. So again. And the other side. And back into prayer. And then up and out. One hand over and the head. And the hands up and down. And now let's rub the hands. Just place the hands on the lower back, kidneys, sacroiliacs, wherever they want to go. And feel. And then bring the hands down the legs to the knees and rubbing the knees. Trying to get it coming from the lower back belly. Alternating. And then rubbing the hands again, and we'll do the eyes. and then palming. Then the hands up, pointing the two fingers and out to the side. Now keeping the head still, just a little glance down to the left and then to the right. And the hands up and back to prayer. And now the hands up and down, head still, the eyes following the hands. My hands go up and my eyes pull up as much as they can and then down. And then the hands up and out again, pointing the fingers again. Now snaking the hands, keeping the head still and the eyes looking forwards, but being aware of the movement of the hands in the peripheral vision. So you can adjust the position of the hands so that you can just about see them. And then the hands up and down. Now let's rub the hands again. And then placing the hands on the back again. So let's try the kidneys this time. We want to feel just how strong the hand is when it's with the mind. So when I put my hand on something with a listening mind, it's as though I can go in. So it's as though I'm actually feeling my kidneys here, like I've gone into the body. I've projected. And it's the same with the joint. So when we do the knees, it's as though you've gone into the knee joint and the eyes. And now let's just sway, just bringing some movement in. Imagine you're like swaying in the breeze. And now feel the dantian. And we just clench the dantian, so pulling in and then releasing, pushing back out. So the fists, the eyes clench, perineum, the sphincters, and everything releases and you push against that clenching. And now let's try a little bit of the butterfly. Take your time, otherwise your legs will crimp. Feel the joints, those hip joints. And then just imagine the softening that would need to take place in the mind to let them relax and open up a little bit. And then just back to prayer for a few moments. Feel the dantian naturally clenching and the sacrum spreading. Just send the leg out. And the other side. Again. And the other side. Let's try with the arms threaded through. lie back and cycle. Feel your down chin. You're like you're pregnant. You've got something inside the belly. So hands on the down chin, giving it some support. Just imagine if that was, if you really were pregnant, that thing inside your belly was growing, then it would sort of push your hips apart. It would spread your sacrum. That's the sort of feeling. So cycling, but really making space for the belly. And then back up into the sumo squat. Feel how far you feel from the ground. Almost get vertigo. Okay, let's just jog on the spot a little bit. It's loosening the two sides of the body away from each other. So single weighted. into riding horse. Feel the feet like two stethoscopes. Imagine the doctor, he's got his stethoscope on. When he listens to your chest, for example, it's not just a sort of random placement of the stethoscope head. He's listening. So what that means is he's projecting his mind into your insides so that he can hear what's going on in the bottom of your lung compared to what's going on in the top of your lung. So it's very much mind directed. This is what we want with our feet. Now, we have it naturally with the hands. When we place our hands on something, our mind immediately goes around the thing and into the thing. The same thing with the feet. So when I place my foot on the ground, it's as though part of my mind is projecting into the ground a little bit and picking up vibrations, listening. The legs would have to be a little bit relaxed, a little bit open in order to extend, to get this sense of extension of the mind through them and into the ground. It's just move side to side, but with that same feeling. I'm listening. I'm really interested in what's underneath the foot. So I'm drawing myself towards it, but staying open. I don't want the leg to compress too much as it starts to bear my weight. Feel the two modes of the leg. So my leg supports me when it has my weight. When it doesn't have my weight, it listens and moves me. So the more this supports me, the more this leg opens up and can really listen to the ground, and then it pulls me towards that. My listening aspect of the leg is bending the leg, it's pulling me down towards the ground. My passive supporting aspect is effectively straightening the leg or preventing it from bending any further. This is the mind's faculty that we want to develop, listening. Listening that encourages what's hiding to appear, to manifest. It's a bit like the good student who's eager for the information from the teacher, and that encourages the teacher to open up and give out the teaching. My foot is the head of the stethoscope. But the ear, the part of the stethoscope that comes into the ear, is either side of my sacrum. So my sacrum is listening. Into riding horse. Now feeling gravity, so feeling the spine settling down onto the sacrum and the sacrum branching into the two legs. The two legs go down, so they have to round out so that they hit the ground almost perpendicularly. And that listening aspect is trying to go down. And now let's turn with it. It's the same sort of idea, moving from leg to leg, but now instead of moving side to side, we're turning. So I straighten this leg and that pushes me towards this corner, and then I bend that leg to pull me back. And then this leg straightens and pulls. The basic action of the human being is to reach out, pick something up and pull it in. And that's what we're doing with the hand, but it's also what we're doing with the leg. My leg is straightening to reach out, and then it's pulling something in, which is that piece of ground underneath the foot. Walking effectively, reaching out with the foot and pulling that new bit of ground into you. Straighten the leg and bend it. Straighten this one. Same thing, keep the legs going, but just breathe with it. So opening up both hands, so one hand going behind you now, and then closing as you come back to the front. So breathing is the same action as reaching out and pulling something in. And same thing, but as you bring it in now, just knocking the gates of life. So let the hand that's behind you strike your back, and the hand in front strike the belly. Want to hit yourself hard enough so that the belly has to tighten to protect itself. Feel the belly, probably stinging a little bit. Try a bit of the tree. Going down just by opening the knees, on this feeling of opening up to go down. Yeah, so if you're not very good at going down, then you tend to sort of huddle up and go down as a lump. You want to just open the knees. So I'm opening to the ground. And then I draw something from the ground up. And then I project up my arms into the sky and pull something of the sky down. Exchanging with heaven and earth all the time. Effectively, what we're doing is two large figures of eight with each arm. Then slipping into the riding horse. So now feeling gravity pulling you down. But now we've woken up this connection with the heavens as well. So there's this draw upwards, the levity. And now let's do the two circles. One hand is pulling something in to inspect it, and the other hand is reaching out and behind. Keep your eyes with the hand that comes in. So you're almost reaching out into a blind spot, not quite. But it's very much your peripheral vision that's reaching forwards. And same thing, but with on bow and arrow. And now feeling the full and empty bit more. So when we're doing the two circles like that, we're sort of in the middle. So now I'm definitely coming from foot to foot. So as I come into the foot, I want to feel the sinking into the leg, but also this sense of the foot sort of opening up and spreading as I bring the weight into it. So as I come into the foot, now my circle with my hand is just helping, if you like, the energy spread out from the foot around it. And then I come back into the back foot and again. So sinking into the foot, a bit like if you're going to drop a glass, spill a glass of water, stream down, and then when it hit the ground, it just spread out. It's the same feeling here as I sink into the leg. Some of it goes into the ground, but a lot of it just spreads out, opening up the leg and the hip. And this is in the form. Every time you put the weight into a foot in the form, this is what's happening basically. So this is tricky. Effectively, what we're trying to do is relax the leg as we bring the weight into it, or relax it as much as possible. Obviously, when I bring the weight into a foot, into a leg, the leg is effectively straightening to keep me up, but I want to feel the flow down that straightening. Try and feel the hands operating lower than the hip. This feeling that the hand is very much in the lower body, at least some of the time when we work. The hands sort of with the knees, but they'd like to be with the foot. And then let's change the feet. And the same thing. Back to riding horse. The Danshan. There's something alive in your Danshan. Feel the big toes pressing down and the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Feel your weight down the spine, across the hips, down the legs and through the heels. So if you're with your weight sinking, it's almost like you're going to fall backwards. And so you need that big toes pressing down. You need these anchor points to sort of keep you up. But that sense of falling backwards allows this lift from the front, from the heart, from the belly. Remember, John used to say that he felt this coming upwards like this, and often his eyes would be smarting, his eyes would be tearing because the energy was sort of stinging his eyes. The problem with humans, I mean, the wonderful thing about humans is the same thing that's a problem, which is we're very impressionable. So we tend to, spend most of the time indoors and interacting with our technologies. And so we become like our environments, like our technologies here. So you're either mechanical or you've got this high-pitched nervous energy that comes from computers. I remember doing sticking with John once in an intensive, and he just said to me, "Have you been using a computer?" This was like 85, so before they were that common. I says, "Yeah, I was programming yesterday." He says, "Oh, I can feel computer energy on you." Like 100 years ago even, we'd have spent hours a day walking, and you'd be walking in the elements, and those elements would be affecting you. They would be impressed upon you, rather than having our regular indoor environments and our technologies impressing upon us. When we work, we just want to feel very much fluid of liquid. So we have this skeleton, but even that's sort of jelly-like. And especially when you're meditating, you give this appearance of stillness, but actually everything is moving. But like a sort of slow movement, not modern movement, which is fast because it's sort of electricity, but movement that's sort of the speed of your heartbeat or your breathing. Now let's try the two circles again, but as the figure of 8. So now the opposite hand, my right hand is now going to come into my left hip. Just beginning to get the opposite hand and foot connecting. And let it become a figure of eight exercise, but with the same feeling of when you do the bottom of the figure of eight, try and reach into the opposite foot. And then let's just squat down, but sending the hands to their opposite feet. So crossing over, feeling that connection. The same connection that there would be if you were sitting in lotus. Your hands are with their opposite feet. Up. And now let's try a bit of this one. And just getting this sense of the two sides of the body rubbing against each other. We want the feeling that our movement has been squeezed out of us. So I'm not moving with this like lever action like this. I'm not contracting a muscle in order to move an object, which is my hand. I'm using my muscles to squeeze a flow of energy along a path. Very much like the peristaltic action that moves the food through your alimentary canal, especially your gut. Imagine all those pulses traveling down your gut to move the food through. So I'm sort of using my muscles in this sort of contracting, squeezing, oozing way to get these flows moving around. And all of the flows, they're always figures of 8 because they're always returning, and they never quite return the way they went. And using the muscles like that, it generates spirit, which is why it's one of the reasons it's so important for us. And now just lifting the foot. So we want to come into the foot in the same way we did when we circled around it. So I sort of, when we practice the circles, I'm visualizing this circle coming around my foot. So big toe, inside edge, heel, outside edge, little toe through to the big toe. So I'm clear in my mind about the trace. So that's really just to, develop discipline and a sense of clarity. But when we actually put the weight into the foot, I just come into it, but come into it like that, like I'm spreading out. So when I come into the foot, there's a sense of it spreading in the way that my mind has trained it. So it's not just this ignorant, it's got shape. Everything has shape. Nothing's without will, really, or mind. Mind is everywhere. So design, but the design is not of our designing mind. So it's not of our visualizing mind. It's just a feeling. I put the big toe down and I come into the foot, and the foot just naturally spreads out. It's more like an image of water just spreading. Put the big toe down, and then as I come into the foot, it sort of oozes out and starts pooling. And that sort of just gives me a bigger base so that when I pick the other foot off the ground, I've got a little bit more stability. So part of my mind is down there, trickling out of the foot and spreading over the ground. And another part of my mind is just very active and just with what's with my senses. Big toe down. And now as I come into the foot, it's just, oh, it spreads out. I'm circling around the foot like this, but it's not with a hard mind, it's with a soft mind. So the line is just a little bit blurry and much more organic than my mind could ever manage. I just want this feeling that I'm really relaxing into the leg as I bring my weight into it. So it's really spreading out. Everything is opening up. And then in the very center of that, there's this support. It's like a really thin line that comes up and stops me from actually falling. Remember the round chapel in Hackney where I had that Tai Chi class. So architecturally, what was remarkable about that building, it was the first building that had cast iron columns. So when you looked at it, there was all those sort of vaulted columns all the way around this round building. The columns are only like that wide. You think of like a Greek column, made of stone. And so it had this look of real sort of slender support. It's the feeling here something has come up through this, but it's really narrow and slim and it's extending up and everything else is just flopping down around it. External that's sinking and it's the internal that's rising. And now connecting the hands with the opposite foot. So as I step out with my left foot, it's going to take my right hand. So I just, in my mind, I make that connection. It's almost like I'm trying to grab something underneath this foot. And then this hand drags the other foot along the ground and up to the knee. And I end up holding the ball. And then as I step out with my right foot, it's taking my top hand with it. So there's this point where the hands cross over, like when we were holding the feet when we crouched. And then as I come into this foot, this hand is pulling my emptying leg along the ground and up. For something like this exercise, we just want to continue it until it really feels like my lower back has rounded backwards the other way. Because it's the curvature in the lower spine that brings me up, makes my hands want to be here rather than down. So I need to continue long enough to get this real sense that I'm with the ground. I'm really close to the ground. My hands are at least as low as the knee, if not lower. Feel how your lower back needs to be to allow this. It's quite a tall order, really. It's that fetal spine, the spine of the baby in the womb. If we can catch the spine, then we're more likely to catch the mind. The mind of the unborn child. finish. So this work of trying to make adjustments on this part of the body, the sacrum, the lower back, the hips, is a long haul. It's years and years. You just have to do a little bit every day. Remember that thing John said to me, one of the first things he said to me, measure your progress in decades.